Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast, Finding Your Flow. I'm so excited to have you here. So, I want to welcome you to our new season of this transformational podcast, and it's called My Intuition Made Me Do It. I'm your host, Jennifer Jane Young, and I'm here to ignite inspiration within you. I'm the author of Say Yes to Your Yes, How to Trust Your Gut and Take the Leap, and the visionary behind the School of Intuitive Leadership. I've dedicated my life to empowering individuals to trust their intuition and lead their lives from that powerful inner wisdom. Through my work as an international speaker and intuitive leadership advisor, I've witnessed the transformative power of following one's intuition firsthand with entrepreneurs and organizations around the world. This season, we're diving deep into the stories of people who dare to listen to their inner voice and take the leap. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of intuition, sharing captivating experiences that will reignite your belief in the incredible guidance within you. Get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It's time to embrace the clarity and courage that comes from trusting your intuition. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be inspired into action. Your dreams are waiting. Let's make them a reality together. Awesome. Well, Laura, I'm super excited to have you here on this season of the podcast. My intuition made me do it. I was just sharing with you before that I feel like you're going to take me on a little Eat, Pray, Love journey today, which is super fun. So I'm really excited for people to hear your story. So I always kick off, obviously, with the first question, which is, what did your intuition make you do?
My intuition had me launch an olive oil brand that is farm to table, authentic Italian extra virgin olive oil, pressed and made on my in-laws' farm in Calabria, Italy.
So I'm already like full of spinal chills as you say that. It sounds like a dream project, a dream life. Tell me more about like what nudged you to do this? How did this intuitive nudge feel initially? Like where did it all start? Where did the spark start?
Hmm. And I attribute a lot of it, like personally, to like my prayer life. Like, I mean, we like that'll be a huge part of my story is kind of like praying about things, like, and just like seeking if this is like the right thing for me and for my family. But my husband and he is a immigrant. He's a first generation immigrant over to the United States. So he moved here in his early 20s. And he grew up on an olive farm in Calabria, Italy. And we met here, I would say many years ago. And then when we first started dating, and then went back to Calabria to meet his family, and I tasted this liquid gold that was sitting on their table that they doused everything in. And it's a staple like wine is, like wine and bread and fresh cheese and everything.
Okay.
And I was like, this is olive oil? Like this is what olive oil can actually taste like. And I like that was the spark for me because I'm
Mm.
a third generation Italian American. I grew up with a mom that is an amazing cook, like going to Italian restaurants and in the spaces where I did find olive oil in restaurants and such, like I never liked it. It was never a thing like, oh, like let me, just dip bread in this oil. Like it was, okay, let's maybe add a little like herbs and cheese and balsamic. Like let's make this oil taste good enough to like dip the bread in and want to eat it raw like that. Um, and so I never had, I guess, maybe an appreciation for like what real olive oil is, extra virgin olive oil. And so when I tasted it there, I was like, this is nothing of what olive oil, the experience I had, in my life, growing up in the States. And so I started thinking, well, if we've never found something like this on the shelves, like why, if it's made like this, why does it not look like this by the time it gets to our shelves in the States or to our restaurants where we're eating or to our homes where we're cooking? And that I think was the spark. And from there, like what we would always do is, and he did the Pino, my husband Pino, he did this years before even meeting me. They would always put these gigantic European water bottles. They'd fill them full of olive oil, vacuum seal them, and there was the suitcase of the olive oil suitcase. Like you threw all these gigantic containers in of oil, and they were all vacuum sealed. Hopefully they wouldn't leak. And you always checked an extra bag of oil. We brought it home, and it lasted for the year.
Wow.
We basically from that point, like we never he had never bought olive oil here. And then from that point on, I didn't either. So I think there was one time we ran out and we had to go buy some. And we were like, that's right. This is such a problem here. Like we kind of forgot about it because we've been, drinking this liquid gold like fresh from the farm every year that we brought over every time we went to visit Italy once or twice a year. And so for years we talked about, like, man, we really should have your family bottle this and like help them export it and import it and sell it and like get this in front of Americans and in front of consumers even around the world who have never tasted extra virgin olive oil like this. Like,
Mm.
and I think the more we started learning about the industry, the adulteration of the olive oil industry, especially. It's the number one food fraud product in the whole world. It's a top target for food fraud. And you realize this is not just a small problem, like it's a huge problem. And we could be a small sort of catalyst for change in the olive oil industry. And we thought, you know what, like this also carries with it a piece of responsibility that we might just have the right pieces to put together. Like my background, my professional background, my personal background, combined with Pino and his family and making the oil and his professional background. He's a chef by trade. He has an import background with food.
Mm.
And we were like, it literally like might be something that we really feel called that we should do, like, and bring it to people. So I think that's kind of the origin story of it. We thought about it for many, many years. We got married. Got married in Italy where he's from. We brought the oil over here to share with our guests at our USA reception. We kind of put them in little bottles and set them on the tables. And people went crazy. They were like,
Wow.
where can I get this oil? We're like, well, you can't. It came in our suitcase across an ocean. And we had a little left over from our what we brought over for the reception, and he would give it out to some people he knew professionally that had some import stores. And this one man approached him. He said, if you will import your family's oil, I will buy it. Like you have a buyer lined up if you would do it. And so that
Mm.
again was an impetus, like we need to really think about like maybe this is something we should do one day. So that's kind of the begin that's the story. That's the origin story of intuition, of kind of praying about it for many years. Like this is a huge thing, this is a huge endeavor.
For sure.
Should we do this? Should we not? And we did eventually.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall watching this whole process. Like it is a huge endeavor. And sometimes we don't say yes to something we know we want to do because initially it feels too overwhelming and too complicated. Like,
Hmm.
um, but these kinds of experiences are so unique and often so unique to us and our soul and our life path, right? Um,
Hmm.
so, okay, tell me just quickly, what was your background? So your husband was a chef.
Hmm.
What was your background?
So my background is communications, English writing,
Okay.
communications. I've been in marketing for a number of years.
Okay.
Um, I actually, I, it's just funny. Since I am Italian, I was always interested in speaking Italian. So I actually studied abroad in Italy. I lived there a little bit, worked at a horse farm there a little bit. So I was familiar with the land and the language and people, which came in handy because a lot of his family doesn't speak English.
Okay. Okay. I love
So
it.
like the marketing communications, the Italian language kind of blended with the family who, owns an olive
Yeah.
farm and produces the olive oil. Historically, for 3 generations, they've done this. Combined with he's a chef by trade, so his culinary background, and then him running restaurants, but then also working at an Italian import store and running markets and the pricing, the packaging, the wholesaling, all of that. It kind of just all kind of blended
Mm.
together.
Well, you guys did an amazing job with the marketing. I was, again, we had a little pre-chat, and I was telling you while I was waiting for our interview, I was just sitting watching your homepage and watching this liquid gold run out of the bottle, and it was meditate. Like I teach yoga and meditation, so this was really meditative. So you guys did a really good job
Good.
there.
Oh, it takes a
Um,
village. Like it takes, and there's inspiration.
yeah,
There's people who help with things. So
yeah,
it's all due to that as well.
yeah. What would you say was the most important lesson that you learned in following your intuition on this particular thing?
Feeling that this was a perfect scenario for us and that there was a responsibility that kind of came with that.
Mm,
Like it would be almost virtually impossible if this didn't all work together, like if we didn't bring each of our own strengths to the table. If we if one of these things like didn't exist, like it would not be the perfect scenario. If we weren't like, and we are like bootstrapping our company, like we kind of we
Mhm.
have a family, we have 3 young kids, and our family has grown as our
Wow.
business has grown. And it's a lot day to day, but I think that that's it. Like knowing like we're in the perfect scenario for this, and this is something that's really needed. Um,
Yeah.
and something really wanted as well. And I think as we start learning about the industry more, and as you start seeing like, unfortunately, like more and more people are getting, I wouldn't say getting sick, but like people are more aware of their health
Mhm.
now and trying to really improve their health, and seeing like we're sitting on a beautiful liquid gold mine of something that can really help people.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was conviction in that. Like this is kind of set for us to do. Like we should do this, because if not, who's gonna do it?
Totally. And I really believe that we all come here with a purpose, a path, something we are here to accomplish in a sense, but not accomplish in like the egoic way that we think about, but accomplish for
Mhm,
like our soul, for the evolution
mhm,
of this earth. And
mm,
you guys were, I think, the ones chosen to embark on this journey. And I also just love how you're keeping the family legacy going of like this beautiful art that is making olive oil, which they were just doing, it wasn't for anyone else really, it was for them and their
mhm.
family, or maybe for like the locals. So I love how you guys help them expand that.
Yeah,
And
they would always sell it in bulk. So again, it was for family, for
yeah,
locals, for extended family, and then just kind of what every
yeah.
small producer does. And many people have olive trees down there. Not everyone cultivates them, but all they know is to sell it to the company that buys it. But then after
Hmm.
that, like, where does it go? What does it look like? What does it become?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Let's hit pause for just a second. I want to check in with you and see how you are feeling as you listen to this incredible story today. If you are feeling like you want to activate your yes and say yes to your yes, I invite you to take my Say Yes to Your Yes digital experience, which is a 12-week journey to intuitive mastery. This incredible transformational experience includes a digital copy of my book, Say Yes to Your Yes, and it will for sure activate your yes and inspire you into action so that you can live the life of your dreams. Head over to jenniferjaneyoung.com/course to start your journey today. All right, let's go back to today's incredible story. How did your life change after saying yes to doing this thing? Like what shifted after? Tell me a bit of the story.
Very, very little free time. Free time becomes business time or becomes family time.
Right.
Yeah, I think uh again, like having that responsibility to know, like, okay, like if we're gonna do this, like let's do it well. Let's give people something beautiful, a beautiful product. Let's bring them into the story. Um,
Mm,
let's steward kind of like the gift that we have and what we've been given, and the way that we feel like that we're called to go, and what we feel like we're called to do, and do a good job of it. So
yeah.
I think that changed, and that is like a driving force behind this, because there are so many ways that you can scale a business, or that you can kind of position products, um, or inform people about them and educate consumers. But I think that just refining like what's the why? Like why do we do this? What was it
Mm,
from the beginning that kind of was the impetus to like get going, that made us say like yes to this? Kind of focusing on that, even in the busyness, the very, very busyness of it all.
right. Right. And what do you think um your life would look like, or who would you be today if you had not said yes to doing this
Mm.
project? It's always the last few times I asked this question, people are like, "Oh, I don't like this question. This is scary." And it is, and it's also I think this is one of the most important questions in the interview because it helps people see what is possible when you say yes to your intuition, and
Mhm.
what are the kind of things that you can, in a sense, kind of miss out on when you don't follow that inner nudge. So
Mm.
Tell me.
Yeah, I think something important for me, and I think it's getting like harder and harder as we keep on this journey of scaling our business, but is to make sure that my identity is not wrapped up in it. So like
Hmm.
if it would go away or if we would if something happened to it, um, like just making sure that my identity is not just that. So I think that that is really important, like so building out yourself, like, you have your own life, like you for yourself, like, believing in yourself and having a family or, existing like how it is that organically you are and like being really at peace with that, with who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Um, but if it wasn't here, then I feel like I wouldn't be like focused on something that impacts me, impacts my family, is a legacy for my kids and my own family, as well as furthers like a mission and a legacy of my extended family, as well as like bringing this to all the people whose lives we've touched so far. It's amazing. I am blown away by the stories that people will tell us about how the health journey that they've been on, or how maybe they emigrated here when they were young, or their families did, and this ties them back to there, or maybe this one lady, her husband was. He was from the Mediterranean, and they found our oil. They came here together to our little shop. That's actually right now. It's out of our basement. We have an external entrance. We have a shop that we do open houses for,
Ah,
and where we fulfill all of our orders. And she said that this was one of their last trips out to go do something before he passed away. And she remembers how
mm,
important it was for him to find this oil. And like they came here, they were so excited, and they had the trip. They talked about it the whole way home. They had a beautiful dinner, and like it
wow.
gives me chills to this day, like saying that. Like I felt blessed that
Yeah.
she shared that with us. But then you think like it is bigger than me. Like this thing is bigger than me.
Mm,
So again, like if it didn't exist, okay, I hope I would be fine with that. But it has a growth of its own.
right.
It has a growth of its own that impacts people for the better, I believe. And it wouldn't exist if not. So I think that there's value in that.
Yeah, it sounds like this whole journey just brought a whole lot of purpose to your life and
Yes.
purpose to the direction of your life, which is so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is the name of your company? Can you tell us?
Short Chicho's Olives. And
Chicho's
Chicho
Olives.
Chicho is the name of my father-in-law. It's short for
Okay.
Francesco. So
Okay.
in thinking of a name, we are like, what should we name this oil that, my father-in-law walks these lands all day long, every day, his whole life. Like, what do we name this olive oil?
Mm.
And we were like, you know what? They're Chicho's olives. Like he loves his
Love
trees,
it.
like he loves his babies. He knows when they need something. He knows how the trees are doing. Like there is a hand on these trees at every single time moment. Like that's how we cultivate our olive oil. And so we're like, they're his. Like that's what we should call this company. So Chicho's olives.
Chicho's Olives. I love it. I love it. I think, and I love that you guys honored him, and the love that he gives to those olives and olive trees. I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, thank you.
so if there's someone listening to this story, which there will be, who is like deeply inspired by your journey of like really trusting your intuition and leaping into this dream and beautiful project, who's also wanting to follow their own intuition, doing their own thing, um, what would be one piece of wisdom that you would want to share with people listening about trusting your gut and taking the leap?
Mm, mm. It's just that, like, trust yourself. If you
Mm,
feel inspired to do something, and if you know that you're a person that is a lifelong learner, is a go-getter. Like, I think there are some inherent things that someone has to have to launch a business and care for it and grow it. But if you know that that's you, then
mm,
trust that. And whatever you don't know, you'll figure it out. You will figure it out. You'll put the time into it. You
mhm,
will cultivate your love for learning so that when questions come your way, it won't be something that stops you dead in your tracks. It'll be something like, okay, you know what? Let me learn about this. Let me figure this out. Um, because then it'll expand, like that'll
yeah.
then expand other opportunities, and it's great for yourself as well, like your personal growth. So don't be afraid.
Yeah, I love this piece of advice because I think we so often underestimate what we're capable of. And so we just
Mhm.
stay in our comfort zone. We stay doing what we know already. And we don't realize how resourceful, how strong, how empowered we actually are. And yes, it stretches us out of our comfort zone. It can feel
Mhm.
scary. It can
Mhm.
feel kind of daunting, even like you were saying at the beginning, like this was a huge endeavor. Um, but I was actually reading about the brain this morning because I'm really obsessed about the brain. It's on my book cover actually, and it was just it was by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he was telling us about like how much the brain loves to learn. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like the most exciting thing for the brain to have new information and new knowledge. So, like, we are
Mm,
built for this.
mhm.
We are built to learn. We are built to expand. If we just give ourselves the opportunity to do so by stepping into the unknown, into something new, um, like we expand personally, our life expands, and then it
Mhm.
impacts all the people around us. Like this leap that you guys took is going to have such a huge impact on your kids as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's beautiful. I totally agree. That yeah, and
Yeah.
it's amazing because we do have little kids, and I see them learning, like learning to crawl, like, learning to walk, learning to talk, learning to ride a bike, and
Yeah.
it is definitely the same thing. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mhm. It is, absolutely. I'm so excited to send people to your website. It's so beautiful. I was just like
Thank you.
looking at your products and I was really excited. So, if there's someone listening today who was like, oh my God, I need to reach out to her, I love their story, or they want to learn more about your products, we're going to put the links obviously in the show notes. Where would be the best place for people to find you? Where are you guys most active online? Like, I know some people like one social platform more than the other.
Sure. Yep. So our website is the best way to kind of get transported to the land of the olive trees, we like to say, through some videos, like seeing like the land and the groves and the oil and stuff. So that is chichosolives.com. And you're
Okay.
going to link that.
Yeah.
But as well, in addition to that, for social, we are pretty active on Instagram. We're also on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And we have a few YouTube videos up as
Okay.
well.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to put all of those links. Absolutely. I'm really excited for people to discover just this beautiful brand and the story behind it. Um, it was such an honor to have you on here. I think this was one of my favorite stories because it allowed me to go on this little like trip into like dreamland. I really love it. So I
Oh.
appreciate you and I appreciate you coming and I can't wait to share the story with the world and share your brand with the world.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. This is beautiful to rewalk the journey as well for myself. So thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's just take a moment to take in that story. My wish is that it inspires you into the aligned action that you are really ready for. You also don't have to do this alone. Just like my guests have shared about all the incredible people that have supported them along their journey, we are here for you too. If you're ready to uplevel your personal leadership, take big leaps in your life, or take that next leap on your entrepreneurial journey, join us at the School of Intuitive Leadership so that you can experience more ease, flow, joy, abundance, and live in your full brilliance and wake up each day to the life that you really want. Find out more at jenniferjaneyoung.com or at theschoolofintuitiveleadership.com. And participate in this movement with us by sharing an episode that deeply inspired you and leaving us a review. I can't wait to see you on the next episode.